Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Lauren, and today I will be guiding you through a Hatha-based practice. So go ahead and find an easy seat, maybe sitting with your legs crossed, or your legs can be long. It doesn't really matter. You can sit on a block or a bolster, a pillow, a blanket. Just find something that's comfortable to you. Sit up nice and tall. Find some length in your spine. Let your shoulders relax. Relax your jaw. Maybe start to soften your gaze or even close your eyes if that's comfortable to you. Feel the length in your spine. Feel your shoulders relaxing down your back. Today we will move slowly and hold postures a little bit longer. We're going to focus on steady breathing and awareness within the body. You can expect a slow grounding practice, nothing rushed, nothing complicated, just time to feel what's happening in your body and time to stay with that. If at any point you need to rest, please do. Always listen to your body and remember, this is your practice. I'm just guiding you. You are the captain of your ship. So there may be times when you need to come back to this easy seat or a comfortable position. Maybe you need to come out of something and come back in. All of that is perfectly fine. There is no right or wrong here. It's just feeling into your body and noticing what's happening. Today's theme is finding steadiness within change. So physically, we will hold postures and build stability in the body. And mentally, we will notice the difference between effort and ease and how we respond when we feel things changing and challenging. You might notice moments where things feel challenging or uncertain, and the practice becomes steady through that rather than reacting or rushing out of it. On a deeper level, this is about learning to trust yourself in the present moment, even when things aren't perfect or fully settled. So just remember, there's no need to force anything. Just try and be aware of what comes up and work with it as it is. Now start to bring your awareness to your breath. There's no need to change anything. Just begin to notice your breath. Notice the inhales. Notice the exhales. Notice where the air enters the body. Maybe some sensation through the nostrils, through the nose. Maybe you feel the air in your belly inflating with the inhales, deflating with the exhales. Maybe you notice the belly and chest rising and falling with the inhales and the exhales. Just notice. There's no need to change your breath. We're just noticing the pattern, the rhythm, the depth. Start to slow your breath slightly, inhaling through your nose, exhaling slowly through the nose. A little bit deeper. Let's inhale here. And big exhale. Take an inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. Breathing in and out through the nose, continuing to inhale for 4. And exhale for 6. Just continuing this at your own pace, finding your own rhythm. No rush, just you and your breath. Maybe noticing the depth of your breath of each inhale and each exhale. Noticing the length in your spine as you breathe in, sitting up taller. Noticing the softness of the belly, maybe the shoulders relax on the exhales. Relaxing your jaw, your hands. Taking time to check in with yourself. And when we focus on the breath, it helps to create that mental focus, releasing distractions, coming back to the breath. Not to say that distractions are not going to be there, right? There's always going to be something, whether it's sounds inside the room or outside, street noise. Maybe it's the voices, your inner voice, right? Within yourself. Maybe it's to-do lists, tasks that you need to complete. All of those things are normal to think about, but do your best to just come back to the breath. Even if your mind feels busy or distracted, notice how your breath can be steady. So a few more rounds of breath here. Inhaling for 4, exhaling for 6. Embracing this stillness of the body, but the changing of the breath, the pattern of the in and the out, the rhythm, beautiful ebb and flow here. Steady when still. You can start to wiggle your fingers. Maybe keep your gaze soft or start to gently open your eyes. You can roll out your wrists here. And we're going to make our way into a tabletop. So slowly start to come into tabletop. So hands and knees. You're going to bring your wrists right under your shoulders and your knees under your hips distance apart. Begin to spread your fingers wide, maybe untuck your toes here. Press down through the palms. Notice the eyes of the elbows, so the non-pointy side, right? The inside of the arms. That line is going to point towards the top of your mat. We're not hyperextending, we're just active here. Begin to pull your belly button in and up, reaching through the crown of the head here. Sit bones are reaching back, so a nice active table. Good. Just notice how this feels here in your tabletop. This active table, the core is engaged, your arms are engaged, your sits bones are reaching back. So, even though we're holding this pose, that breath is still continuing, right? It's still steady. So just remember to keep coming back to the breath and check in with that. So just a moment here to really feel this core engagement, to feel this tabletop. And we'll start to find some shapes here. So on your next inhale breath, you can start to hammock your belly down towards the mat as you open your sits bones, maybe looking up towards the sky, Cow pose, big stretch for the belly here. Keep pressing your palms into the mat. And maybe on your next exhale, you start to round the spine, hanging the head, tucking the tail, finding your cat pose. So belly button pulls up towards your spine here. Now you can continue moving through these with each breath, inhaling into your cow pose, exhaling into cat. If it feels good to stay in one for longer than one breath, please do. You're welcome to do what feels right in this moment. Continuing to notice that steady breath. And notice if the breath ever becomes unsteady, right? That happens. Sometimes we hold our breath. Sometimes we feel the breath becoming shallow. So we'll breathe from the chest up rather than from the low belly. So just do what feels right here. There is no perfect way. There is no right way. It's not about what you look like here. It's about what it feels like to move through these shapes, these poses, these asanas. It's about what it feels like to feel them in your body and always coming back to the breath. So we want to feel an ease of breath in each posture. And if you notice yourself straining or maybe your mind wandering, just come back to the breath. That's a practice, okay? So maybe notice what happens if your mind does start to wander. Do you start to get frustrated with yourself, or do you start to spiral with your self-talk? Maybe you don't notice these things. Maybe you just you just keep continuing that talk in your head of your to-do list or that distraction. But if you can become more aware of that, then the practice will become easier of just noticing, right? So noticing is the very first step. Mindfulness is observing without judgment. So when you find yourself in these maybe challenging times of the mind wandering, come back to the practice, the steadiness of the breath, the ins and the outs. A few more breaths here in your tabletop, or your cat-cows, just whatever is feeling good. Noticing the changes from one position to the next. Keeping the breath steady even as your body is moving. We're going to return to a neutral spine, so right back to our tabletop. Knees are hips distance apart under the hips. Wrists are under the shoulders, shoulder distance apart. You're spreading your fingers out nice and wide, pressing down through the palms. Now come back to that active table, pulling the belly button in and up here, reaching through the crown. Shoulders are gliding down the back. You can have your toes tucked or untucked. That part doesn't matter. Go ahead and start to reach your right hand forward. Keep your fingers down on the mat. And then we're going to bring the left foot back. We're going to keep the toes down on the mat as well here. So we're going to start with keeping it active. So you're pressing down through your left palm. Even though your toes and fingers are down on the mat, you're reaching through the fingers and toes. If you ever need to modify here, you can make a fist with your left hand and see if that feels better than the palm. Totally up to you. All right, so pull your belly button in and up. Feel the core nice and strong here, stable and supported. Maybe start to lift your fingers and toes off the mat. Yes, good job. Reaching through the heel, the toes, the fingers. Notice some stability here. Maybe you're feeling a little bit wobbly, and that's okay. Just notice what's happening. Are you holding your breath? Are you holding tension anywhere in your body? Just notice here. Keep breathing. Remember, the work isn't to be perfect or still. It's to try and stay steady even when you feel unstable, even when you're feeling challenged. Remember This one's important as well. If you're feeling really wobbly, you can set your foot down or you can set your hand down. Maybe it's both, right? Maybe we start here. It's a great place to start. Maybe you just try the arm. Maybe you try just the leg. It's okay to switch. Try one and then the other. Just a few more breaths here. Focusing on the breath. Breathing through it, even when we feel unstable, even when we feel really challenged. If you're not feeling unstable or challenged, notice that too, right? It's all part of the practice. Let's go ahead and come back to center. We're going to switch sides. So this time you're going to reach your right foot back. You're going to reach through your heel here. Keep it nice and active. Right palm is pressing down or your right fist. Left arm is going to reach forward and out. Keep your neck soft. Maybe fingers and toes stay down. Maybe just the hand lifts, maybe just the foot. Maybe you're doing both limbs here. Bird dog. Belly button is pulling in and up towards the spine. You're active here. You're pressing down through your right hand. You're breathing, noticing whatever comes up. Maybe this side feels the same. Maybe this side feels different. There's all the things to notice here. So just make sure you're breathing. If you forgot to check on your breath, you can choose to do that now, right? It's okay. A few more breaths here. Just noticing, holding, feeling what it feels like to be here. Good, you guys. Go ahead and release. And we're going to come into a child's pose. So you're going to bring your big toes to touch and your knees as wide as they'd like to be today. Allow your belly to float down towards your thighs and your forehead rests down on the mat. Reaching your fingers for the top of your yoga mat. Maybe let your arms relax to the mat, or you can rest your palms face up by your feet if that feels better. Whatever you like here. Begin to soften through your jaw. Breathing through your nose, coming back to the breath. Maybe noticing the breath if it's sped up. Maybe your heart rate. What is it like right now? If it's racing or just sped up a little, maybe try breathing a little deeper, a little slower, in and out through the nose. Noticing what happens when you do that. Can you stay steady? Can you connect to your breath? Even though you might be feeling some energy here moving through the body after the intensity of the bird dog pose, can you stick with your breath? Can you stay steady? Slowly start to come out. Coming back to your tabletop. And then we're going to tuck the toes under, lift the hips back and up, finding downward facing dog. Feet are hips distance apart, hands are shoulder distance apart. Spread your fingers, spread your toes. Maybe walk your dog, pedaling out your legs, shaking your head yes and no. Relaxing the jaw. Noticing how this feels. Maybe coming to stillness here. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Downward facing dog. Begin to step your feet forward, coming into a forward fold. Knees are soft. And slowly start to inhale, rising up to a standing position. Once you're at the top, go ahead and reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale the hands to the heart. Maybe soften the gaze here or close the eyes and just notice how you feel standing upright. What do you notice here? Grounding down through the feet, reaching through the crown of the head, pulling the belly button in and up. Your legs are engaged, your glutes are engaged, your core is engaged, your shoulders are soft, and you're actively pressing into your palms here. Softening through the jaw. So you're grounding down through your feet, but you're rising and extending, growing through the crown of your head. Go ahead and release here. Shrug out your shoulders a few times. Noticing your body now that you're moving. We're going to come into a warrior one. Step your right foot forward and your left foot back. Left toes are going to point towards the top left corner of the mat, and you're going to bend into your right knee, stacking it over the ankle. Arms are going to reach up. Roll the pinkies in here, soften your shoulders. Begin to notice some energy in the legs. Reaching down through that back heel. Legs are nice and strong here. You're reaching up through the fingertips. Good. Grounding down through the feet. Extending nice and tall. Warrior one. Notice if you can stay steady here without holding tension in your body. Are you holding your breath maybe? Just what do you notice here? Warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. If your arms ever get tired, you can come into cactus or hands to the heart. Continuing to notice how you feel. Why don't we try the second side? Stepping the left foot forward and the right foot back. Same thing. Your right toes are going to point at an angle towards the top right corner of your mat. You're going to bend into your left knee here. Arms are going to reach up over the head. Rolling the pinkies in, reaching but keeping the neck soft, shoulders relaxed. Grounding down through the back heel. The pinky toe side of that foot is pressing down. You're lifting and extending out of your hips, maybe looking up through the hands. Notice what happens as you look up, as you switch your gaze. Is this more challenging? Can you keep your breath steady? A few more breaths here. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Stepping the right leg forward, we are going to come into Warrior two, Virabhadrasana two. So keep your right leg forward and step your left leg back. We're going to line up the right heel with the left arch. So your left toes, you're going to have perpendicular feet here. So right heel lines up with left arch. Right toes are pointing towards the front of the mat. Left toes are parallel with the back of the mat. You're going to bend into your front knee, really pressing down through the pinky toe side of the back foot. Reaching through the fingertips here. Gaze is over the right middle finger. Shoulders are soft. Warrior two. Strong legs here. What do you notice as you reach through your crown and your fingertips, rooting down through the feet? Your body is working. Can your breath stay steady? Can your mind, your attention stay steady. Transitioning to the second side, turning your right toes in, left toes pointing towards the back of the mat, finding a perpendicular stance here. Bending into the front knee, the left knee, reaching the arms up, extending through the fingertips, gazing over the left middle finger, opening up through the chest, stacking the chest over the hips, really pressing down through the pinky toe side of that back foot. Breathing here, noticing if this side feels any different. Does it feel the same? Are you noticing your breath? Your body is working. Can your breath stay steady? Can your mind, can your attention stay steady? Couple more breaths here. Warrior 2. We're going to turn the left toes in, turn the right toes in. So your heels are facing out. On your inhale, you're reaching up, 5-pointed star. Stay here for the exhale, maybe look up. Notice how this feels in your body and your breath. Grounding down through the feet, maybe a little wobbly, maybe a little unstable. Maybe take the gaze, make the neck and gaze neutral. Next inhale, we're going to reach up. On the exhale, hands to hips or straight out. Wide-legged forward fold, coming all the way down, maybe grabbing your feet or your ankles or your legs. This is a great place for blocks under the hands. You can adjust your stance if you like. Maybe shake your head yes and no. Maybe noticing some sensation in your legs, inner and outer legs, maybe your neck, your shoulders. If you'd like, you can grab your big toes or your feet, your ankles. Maybe you grab the back edge of your mat. Can you stay steady even when you're upside down? Your body is working. Can you stay steady? Can your breath stay steady? Can your mind and your attention stay steady? 3 more big breaths here. Start to come up halfway, and all the way up to standing, bringing your feet in, toe heeling to touch or under the hips. We're going to come into a balancing pose here, tree pose. So begin to ground down through your right leg, spreading out the right toes, left knee bends. Create a little kickstand here with the left foot against the right leg, engaging through your standing leg. Maybe hands come to the heart. Maybe you want to come into cactus arms or reach the arms up. This is where your steadiness gets tested. You might wobble or fall out, but remember the practice is coming back without frustration. Just realizing it and then trying again. So you can find a non-moving spot on the floor, on the wall. Find something to stare at. That's our drishti, our gaze, our focal point. Maybe you want to try sliding your foot up to the inner calf or inner thigh. You choose whatever works for you, but just notice where you're grounded, where you're growing. Notice where you're engaged and where you're not. Taking taking time to notice. Keep breathing. If you fall out, come back to it. Practice coming back to the pose, to the breath. Let's try the other side, guys. Go ahead and release. Maybe shaking out the legs, grounding down through the opposite leg, left leg, grounding down, spreading out those toes. Little kickstand with the right foot. Really engage the left leg, the glute. Maybe begin with the hands at the heart. Find your drishti, your focal point. Maybe you slide your foot up. Maybe inner calf, maybe inner thigh. Hands can stay here. They can extend. Pick the arm variation you like. Notice if you are wobbly on this side. Does this side feel the same? If you fall out, that's all right. Just come back. What do you notice on this side? Where does your mind go? Can you stay steady? A few more breaths here. Challenging your balance. Releasing when you're ready. Maybe walking out the legs or rolling out the shoulders here. Taking a moment to release that. Take an inhale, reach your arms up. On the exhale, forward fold all the way down, hinging at the hips, soft knees here. Grab opposite elbows, finding ragdoll, maybe shaking the head yes and no. Maybe swing side to side, or little bobs up and down. Notice your breath. Can you come back to it? How does it feel to be upside down? Noticing the sensations in your belly and the backs of your legs, your head, your neck, your shoulders. Begin to come down with those palms, and then maybe to your knees or a squat so you can find your seat. We're going to extend the legs out long down the mat. Sitting up nice and tall here. If you feel like you need to modify, you're welcome to first try moving the sits bones back a little. And if that isn't helpful enough, you can grab a blanket, a folded blanket to sit on, maybe a bolster or a block. We're going to sit up nice and tall. Take a big inhale, reaching. On the exhale, start to fold forward, reaching for the toes, but you don't have to grab them. You're welcome to grab your ankles or your shins as you glide your shoulders down your back. Relaxing the jaw here. Try to keep your back nice and flat. It's not about grabbing the toes, it's about keeping the back flat. Now, if this ever feels like too much in your lower back, it is okay to back off and maybe be here, and then just start to fold just a little hinge at the hips. We're flexing the toes towards the face, reaching through the heels. We're noticing, we're breathing. Finding some length through the spine, the crown, the backs of the legs. Creating space in the body with the breath. A few more breaths here. Maybe Coming out on an inhale. Maybe coming back in on an exhale, just noticing if this feels the same or different. Maybe you find a new depth to your pose. Starting to come out, releasing your seated forward fold. Just notice where you can soften and where you can settle. Maybe finding one more round here. Always coming back to the breath. Remember, you can use a strap to loop around your feet if that feels better. You do not have to grab your toes or your feet. Allow the practice to meet you where you are today. Slowly releasing, coming out of your seated forward fold. Then we are going to bend the right knee. Flex your left toes towards your face. Give your right knee a hug. Sit up nice and tall. Maybe stay right here. Maybe you take a big inhale, sitting up even taller. Then on the exhale, you start to spin to the right, really hugging this right leg, reaching through the sole of the foot, flexing the toes through the face. Maybe notice the breath here. Does it feel a little restricted with this belly to thigh connection here? You can stay here. Maybe your right hand comes behind you, second spine. You can press into it to stabilize, sitting up tall. Maybe you hook your left elbow outside your right knee. Maybe release that hook and you can step your right foot over your left leg. That's going to help to stabilize a little bit more. Then you can go in for the elbow knee hook here. Sitting up nice and tall, inhaling. Maybe chin stays in line with the chest. Maybe on the exhales, you look over your right shoulder. Try to keep sitting up nice and tall. Breathing here. Noticing if it feels constricted. Does it feel restricted with the breath? Maybe you need to come back to the hug. What feels good here? What do you notice in your body? Good, guys, sit up nice and tall. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Good. Maybe the gaze softens here. Maybe your eyes close and you turn inward, focusing on the steadiness of the breath. Noticing the energy flowing through the body. Maybe you notice other things, feelings, sensations, but your breath is always steady. Even if it slows down or speeds up, it is there, working automatically. Couple more rounds of breath here. Coming out. When you're ready, unwinding, little counter twist to the left, and release, coming back to center, right leg long. Start to bend your left knee, bringing that foot in, giving yourself a big hug, maybe staying right here, sitting up nice and tall, reaching through the crown of the head, maybe stepping the left foot over the right leg. Start to flex your right toes towards your face. Taking a big inhale to sit up nice and tall, giving yourself a nice hug. You can stay here, or you might start to spin to the left, coming into a twist. So we want to keep the right toes flexed towards the face. You can keep hugging here. Maybe your left hand comes behind you, second spine, sit up nice and tall. Maybe right elbow hooks outside of the left knee. Maybe you're reaching through those right fingers. Maybe chin stays in line with the chest. Maybe chin, maybe eyes look over the left shoulder. Whatever feels right on this side. Continue to breathe. Noticing if this side feels any different. Does it feel the same? Are you noticing your breath? Maybe each inhale guides you a little taller. Maybe each exhale allows for more depth, a little more twist. Maybe it's not a physical movement in the pose, in the body. Maybe you just feel a shift with the breath. A few more rounds here. Noticing the breath. Steady. Sometimes people find the most challenging part of the Hatha practice is the stillness of sitting with oneself, right? And that's where we talk about the mental part, when your mind starts to wander. So just keep coming back to the breath. Embrace the silent times, the silent moments. Welcome them. Unwinding when you're ready. Little counter twist to the right. And then coming back to center, we'll unwind the legs and set up for our bound angle pose or cobbler's pose, butterfly pose. Lots of names on this one. Baddha Konasana. You can bring your soles of your feet together here. Maybe scoot your sits bones back. Sit up nice and tall, extending through the crown of the head, softening the shoulders down the back, softening the jaw. Maybe hanging onto your ankles or your shins here. It is fine to stay right here. Need a little support? Maybe grab a couple of blocks, place them under your knees or your thighs. Maybe you open your feet up like a book, inhaling to sit up tall. Exhaling gently, opening those feet up, bringing the elbows to the legs, helping the knees open as you fold. You want to maintain a flat back here, reaching through the crown of your head, keeping the back flat, extending out of your hips, even though you're folding. So our upper back is not rounding here. A little bit is okay. Sometimes it happens, but see if you can keep your chest nice and open as you start to fold. If you find that you're unable to take out the round, maybe back off a little bit. Come back out, hang out a little bit higher up. Maybe just take your time slowing down, coming into this pose. Maybe you're needing some support for your head. You can use a block under your forehead. You could rest your elbows on the mat or blocks. Maybe support your face with your hands. Maybe you're using blocks and fists or stacking the hands however you like. Just think about that flat back, extending through the hips, breathing nice and deep. Maybe coming back to the inhale for 4 and exhale for 6. Whatever keeps you present here. Continuing to notice what's happening in your body. Breathing in and out. Maybe sending some breath into the hips, the lower back, the glutes, inner and outer legs. And encouraging some space into these areas. As you feel ready, go ahead and make your way out of this cobbler's pose. Maybe taking some window wipers as a little counter here. And we're going to make our way all the way down to our backs. Come all the way down to your back. Maybe hugging your knees into your chest, rocking side to side. Notice how it feels to be grounded and supported here. We're going to plant the feet down on the mat about hips distance apart for bridge pose. Start to press your low back into the mat. Engage your glutes. Maybe reach your fingertips towards your heels. When you're ready, you're going to lift your hips up off the mat, pressing into the heels, staying engaged here. Keeping the glutes engaged. Don't let your knees fall open. Don't let them cave in. Maybe start to tuck your shoulders underneath you. Coming up a little higher. Possibly interlacing the fingers under the low back. Options. Maybe you start to feel challenged here. Can your breath stay steady? Maybe your breath changes here. Can you notice what's happening in your body? Can you notice what you're feeling here? Can you take the time to check in? Gosh, Lauren, you're really hitting this hard. Well, yes, right? That's our practice. So maybe you guys are going to start to take this off the mat, right? And instead of me hammering it in and asking you if you're connecting with your breath, if you're connecting with yourself, maybe it's going to become your own inner voice saying, hey, what am I doing right now? What am I feeling? Where's my head at? Am I breathing? What is my breath doing? What does that look like, right? Go ahead and release yourself down when you're ready. Maybe bringing the feet to the mat, taking some window wipers here. Allowing your knees to rock side to side, releasing that bridge. Your arms can tee out or cactus, doesn't really matter. Just a few more on each side. And begin to hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze, maybe wrap your arms around nice and tight. Maybe lift your head off the mat, forehead towards the knees, squeezing in, drawing yourself into a little ball. When you're ready, take an inhale, breathe in. Big exhale, explode onto your mat. Let your arms and legs fall wherever they want. Feet are open, palms are face up. Allow yourself these last few moments to just be still. Inviting in the stillness. Shavasana, corpse pose. Let your body fully rest. No effort here. Soft gaze or closed eyes. Nothing to do. You're in the right place at the right time. You don't need anything right now. Begin to notice your breath. Notice your body. Even in stillness, things are still changing. The breath is moving. The sensations are shifting. See if you can rest in that without needing anything to be different. keeping your gaze soft or your eyes closed. Take a big breath in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale, let it out. Noticing how you feel here on your back. Maybe starting to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rolling out the wrists and ankles. Maybe staying on your back or rolling onto your side. Again, taking a moment to notice how you feel right here, right now. Coming to an easy seat when you feel ready. Eyes stay closed or the gaze stays soft. Grounding down through your sits bones, sitting up nice and tall, extending through the crown of the head, resting the hands at your heart or in your lap. Throughout this practice, you may have noticed moments of steadiness and moments of change. The goal isn't to eliminate one or the other, but to learn how to stay with both. I encourage you to take this awareness with you off your mat and into your day. Notice the moments of change. Try and stay steady and practice coming back to your breath. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for practicing with me and sharing your practice with me.